Well, there we go. Well, hello, everyone. So that was my protest. And hey, I did it in the 70s. And I think anytime that tyranny raises its ugly head, you have got to speak out. If you don't, then you've got no complaint in the results. And folks, what I was trying to do there was merely to show it's gotten so ridiculous that you can't say anything. Anything you can say can be interpreted, construed. And I've never lived in a time like this. When I saw what happened on yesterday's video with Trina, that they flagged that, and then they said they did a manual review, there was nothing offensive. It violated none of that. Unless you, as the person with your own bigotry, your own prejudices, your own biases, because humans do that, you reflect that, and then they punish us. Now, it's a few shekels. Literally, it's about $1.80. I mean, really, what it comes down to. It's the principle. And, I protested a war. And when I see the tyranny coming from these tech companies, and this is all it is, it's tyranny. When they start using well, I'll tell you what, join me tonight over on the Steiger Perspective. We'll get to the real meat of it. So thank you, folks. It's just, it's oppressive. And I don't like oppression. I don't like oppression of any kind. And so observations. Well, the observation here probably won't do anything. I'll probably leave YouTube because I don't promote tyranny. I don't promote the quieting of free thought. When you live in fear that someone is going to listen to your words and they interpret it through their filters, that's dangerous, folks. That's fascism is what it is. It's not communism, and it damn sure isn't socialism. And boy, I tell you what, folks, maybe they don't like the subject matter. Maybe magic is not cool, but actually it is. I just read recently an article that it's on a major resurgence. People are walking away from religion, the dogmas that has held us in bondage for millennia, and they're realizing there is an alternative. So welcome, everybody. Listen, I don't know how many people are here, but if you're here, thank you for watching. This is the place for free thinkers while we can. So I am going to be exploring other platforms and where freedom of thought is not suppressed, and we can learn. Listen, if you see, this is how it works. You become fearful on what to say. You have knowledge. You want to share knowledge. By the standards of what you read in there, every college and every university, every high school, every middle school, every elementary school would need to be shut down, according to Google's own standards. You can't have freedom of thought. You damn sure can't speak about education because, did you see where education and medical approval procedures, they say violates their standard? I mean, folks, when it's they and you have no say on what they say, you ain't got no say. You might as well get your say and get the hell out of here because, yeah, there I am. I'm using word hell. All right, because I'm sure this will be monitored. So am I defining the religious construct? I guess that's what hell is, isn't it? Let me just invoke favor even upon our tyrannical big tech companies. We just invoke favor upon them. We come back with favor, with their oppression. We just speak favor into their lives. I speak favor into your life. May it find you in abundance this day. May there be full restoration in your life. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life. Maybe that violates. Maybe that's incendiary. Maybe that makes you, God, I mean, this is just crazy, folks. I hope that protest video becomes viral. Send it up, put it on Facebook, put it wherever you can. And let that go out. I saved it. But see what YouTube doesn't know? There's 4 other websites that archive every video I do. And one, you wouldn't even know it's there. Baby products. Who'd have thought? But they have a whole section dedicated to moi. Who'd have thought? And there's a couple of others that have taken upon themselves to archive every video that I have done. So we got that. Hello, Karen. How are you doing? Hello, Warrior Queen. We're going to have her on next Wednesday with a full panel. Kat, good to see you. 7P, hello. Eyes to see. Peace. Blaze and River, how you doing, my friend? Damn, it's hot here in Colorado, isn't it? Joe, good to see you. Seeker of Truth, too. Hello, all. Eyes to see. Joyce, are you really serious? Says, yeah, I'm really serious. Let's see who else is Critical Thinker. How you doing? So, I'm a very peaceful person. I really am. I've learned that is the path. But you know what? The thing about peace is that there comes a point when you either you begin to stand up for what you seriously believe in. And I believe in the fact of that you cannot punish an individual human for the freedom of thought. And I know that we can be ugly, and I understand that there has to be parameters. But when you begin to define the parameters as a weapon to punish, to dissuade, well, that's wrong. You've crossed the line. Join me tonight, folks. I mean, you're going to learn some things about this company, just how much they got our ass. I mean, they do. They literally do. I'm not kidding you. So, wow. Let's see. Pamela Jean, if you believe in the real truth, you will find not many people in that area. Ain't that the truth? And the Minority Report, man, isn't that a fact? I mean, I look at that and I go, yeah, something ain't right here, folks. Something ain't right. And I guess because I was preparing for the show tonight on theartistfirst.com, it's getting bad, folks. There was a story. I'll be making reference to it tonight. I have contended, and you can go back into the archives, the Bloodline Invader series, documenting this progression of what I call modern man, sapiens sapiens, which we're kind of new. We truly are hybrid. But I have contended that there's something else at the controls. What is that? Well, I'll tell you, I haven't found it. I haven't been able to define it. I can sense it. There's times when I can almost feel it. My mind has brushed up against it, but I can't define it. But I know there is something else going on. And what I mean by going on, I'll get real specific here. To do with us as a species, not individually. The individual doesn't matter. It's just merely a cog in the machinery. But I talk about the combined ambiguous psychic kinetic energy that we put off human beings, Homo sapiens sapiens. I don't know if the Neanderthals, Franny, maybe you can answer this, or the denizens, Cro-Magnon. I mean, how we're continuing finding more. And yet anthropologists will tell you that which we have found, and now that we've, broke open the human genome, we've mapped it out. We're well deep into the mitochondrial DNA. We're finding out some stuff, folks, that we're finding out there's some bigger missing components. You look at the migration of humans. There's apparently at least two distinct migrations, one out of Africa, one would be coming out of what would be Siberia, Russia, that area there. Were there two sets of humans? Were there more? Some of the races don't make sense. I mean, it's weird. So my point to this, were they under a control, or did something happen? And the best that I can find out, about 70,000 years ago, seems to be the magic number here. I don't know. Did it? It's certainly telling me technology today has not made humanity freer. It's enslaved us. Now, there are perks and benefits that technology does give, but unfortunately, due to our less than perfect state of consciousness, I speak as human beings, we corrupt everything. I mean, our whole past is about that. We inflict so much harm. Let me give you a case in point here. And so I read about this article, and then I taped it and wanted to see what the series was about. And this thing ended up being more educational to me in awareness of what's going on. So there's a program on, I think it's Discovery, a show called Guardian of the Everglades. And it's about some dude down there that, makes his living catching pythons. When Hurricane Andrew came through in the south part of Florida, those of you who live are Floridians, you know this, 900 boa constrictors, pythons, the habitat was destroyed, and they escaped into the Everglades. Now we are some 27 years later, 27 years, excuse me. The ecosystem is forever changed. These animals, these pythons, I did not know this. They have become so adaptive. They're interbreeding. Those that deal in this, they just found a breed because of these bounty hunters, these snake catchers. Two separate genuses of the reptiles, of snakes, that would, in the normal circumstance, in the normal environment, would never be in the same vicinity because of the separation of distance. But they have met up in the Everglades, and now they have produced a whole new genus of these pythons, boa constrictors. It's a combination of both. Their eyes are different, the skin pigment is different, and they are mean and they're big. Now, here's the thing. By all current estimates, this new hybrid is resistant to freeze. One they captured showed signs of frostbite. Folks, for those of us that live in the United States, and particularly for you folks along, you already know this in Florida. It's already in Louisiana. They're finding now these pythons, these constrictors, invading the Louisiana swamps, Mississippi. They are complete. They've already wiped out 22 species of birds. They're gone unless they migrated off to another habitat. And to show you the insanity of man. So when in the 70s, development was going to everybody, it's like everybody wanted to go to Florida. Well, the problem with Florida is the natural habitat, it's swamp. The Everglades, that's what it's about. It's this natural, and it was in balance. Well, until the Spaniards came over and let the pigs loose, but that's another story. So, you know what they did? They have this thing called, what do they call it? I think they call it the paper tree. And the tree has this ability to suck up all the water wherever it gets planted. Well, they thought it would be a good idea that, you just throw these things. They literally threw them out of the seedlings out of helicopters all through the southern Everglades. Why? Well, because they can, build more houses, put up a parking lot, So these trees sucked out all the water. And now they got a problem with sinkholes. And it's just crazy. Anything that we seem to do, we screw it up. And I often wonder, with our track record, are we going to screw up Ascension? I mean, thank goodness we got guides. Because I'm telling you what, folks, we are just, it's insane. I mean, I guess this is a little day for reflection for myself. It bothered me in the fact that all we do here on this channel is that we try to invoke love, favor. We don't use the word love, we use the word favor to everyone. We're accepting of all thoughts, points of view. Yes, we get into serious discussions, but in any learning environment, serious discussions take place. If you go by the guidelines that Google has put out, no company, no corporation could exist. I mean, I could never depend upon my staff to be honest with me. If they had that in front of them, they wouldn't say a word. It's like the opiate crisis. It was self-generated by some moron in the Obama administration that got into the CDC and decided that, we got a problem with opioids, combining two separate buckets. One, the illegal aspect of the opioid crisis, and they combined the medical side, which was never a crisis. And now, because they evaded Congress, because what they did is they say, and because they're looking for these officials now, they're resigning, getting the hell out of DC, or shall I say Atlanta, because what they did, they were tricky about this, just like Google is. They said, well, what we said, it was a suggestion. Well, apparently from that suggestion, someone over at Justice Department, DEA, says we can opioid problem, and it's these doctors. Look at all these people taking these opioids. Yeah, you moron, it's called surgery. And now today, because doctors have been browbeated into fear, they never broke any law. It was never a law. Now the boomerang effect has hit us. You've got the United States government endorsing the torture of sick medical patients because their doctors are so afraid to prescribe them pain medication. You tell me. This is a different show. I mean, it's insane. I got criticized because I said that, well, and someone completely ran off the rails with it, that we live in a world of magic. We do. Hey, I've gotten enough emails that everyone is saying, you know what, these sigils, they're everywhere. We're going to get into that tomorrow. We're going to pick back up. We've got to. We've got to understand why, by the way, the most powerful sigils, if you look at them, have loops, circles, and straight lines. Yes, Freeman, that's the problem. More suicides by the fact these people can't get pain medication. I mean, you know, folks, if you ever get surgery, it hurts when they cut your skin open or they insert things down. I mean, you know, we live in a time where rational thought is no longer rational. The absurdity of the lack of common sense has gotten to the point where, and you know, you can't talk about it. Why? Someone might be offended by that. Are you kidding me? Do you know what it was like when I was growing up on the playground? What? These snowflakes today and the asinine policies these corporations are putting in, and they're asinine. You know, once in a while, you have to scuff your knee in order to figure out how to ride a bicycle. Oh, yeah, today we got the knee pads and all that. But getting back to the playground. Now, how it's supposed to be until it got messed up, children are children. They have their own way of communicating. Many of us, all of us were children at one time. Many of us have forgotten about it because it wasn't such pleasant. Some, you know, but nevertheless, as if you will just go back in time, and I'm taking you back. And here you are, Franny. Here you are at 7 years old. You're right now in the second grade, and it's, you know what, I could use anyone's name. I could use Eyes to See. I could use Joe Sapien. The point is, our species has the most interesting way of interacting, and children do. They set up hierarchies. They set up organizations, control systems. I mean, yes, they absorb that which they're learning from, but, you know, you get them out on a playground, and it's quite remarkable. It's just how we are. And I think we forget that. And today we got it to where it's like you're not supposed to experience any unpleasantness. You're not supposed to be uncomfortable. You're not supposed to be, wow, I feel stressed by this. That's why I need to take a peacock with me on my airplane, because that peacock is my comfort animal. What? What person in their right mind would even think that? But this is the day and age that we live in. So you can't almost say anything. I'm sure that when they listen to this one, they'll check it off too. Wow, that's just offensive. Well, you know, come on. You know what? When I was a CEO and when I was working my way up, because see, I didn't have an education. My intelligence, which I was smarter than everyone else around me, I knew that. They were easy to manipulate, but that's neither here nor there. Was that the hard knocks they taught you. They taught you how to deal with multiple personalities in a workforce, in an organ, in a group. How goals had to be defined, implemented, achieved, accountability, responsibility, and penalties. It's life. And as much as so many in today's modern society would like to say, well, we have to shelter our young people. You've got people 40 years old still living with their parents. You know what? You kick their ass out at 18. That's a legacy from the Obama administration. He made everyone soft. Well, you can't do that. No. Kick them out of the nest, and they're either going to sink or swim. And if they sink, well, let's hope that they can grab the rope maybe. Folks, it's just the way it is. In my decades of studying the spirit realm, I haven't found it to be a place for the uninitiated. You go in there, you best be hoping that you have a clan that's going to be surrounding you, because it's vicious over there. And folks, thumbs down, I don't care. It really doesn't matter. Point is that we're all going to cross over. And if I can help, this community can help. Once you get the other side, at least someone said, well, you'll never know because you haven't been over there. True. But maybe I have. Maybe you have. Maybe we all have. But what I do know is that we have to break out of this fear matrix. It's stifled us. And I just can't imagine. Well, you think about it. How many people pass over in absolute fear and terror? What is it, the scripture that says, "O death, where is thy sting?" But I contend that if death exists, in which it does, then death is alive. Is it not? I mean, if death was death, then it couldn't exist. I mean, it would be dead. But the fact that death as a spirit or an energy, whatever it is that does the transition, so it has to be alive, right? Bill and Ted's adventure, a story, Bill and Ted knew. They took death on and won. Beat it in a game of Twister, I think. So anyway, I'm sorry, folks. I'll tell you what, just one of those days. And I had a program all worked out, but when I got into this and I saw what was going on here, I just said, this is just a continuation of how you see they're doing this. And I don't like that. I don't like it for any of us. It sucks. And, so they can define the word suck, as a bad term. I don't know. To me, it's like, a filter sucking up pond scum. But I could be wrong. Anyway, folks, boy, I don't know. I believe in principles. It took me a lifetime to understand the value of integrity, the value of honor, the value of calling a liar, the value of being straightforward and not sugarcoating it, not ignoring it, and not perpetrating it with a lie that says it doesn't exist. Life is not that way. And what I just saw today, that's just a step too far. I like Trina. Trina is a woman of integrity and immense knowledge, and that's an insult. And you got some puke that won't identify themselves coming back and questioning the integrity, the honor of an individual. And if they watch that, which I say they are a liar, they didn't watch anything. It's a lie, YouTube. And if you want to prove me wrong, you won't come on. That disproves me right. But if you wish, send a representative. Be more than happy to have them on. And let's look at that video in its totality of content. You see, this is wrong. It's oppression. I knew a woman, along with her sister, that had a tattoo right on her left arm. You see it, yeah, I believe it was. Yeah. And it started out by the ideology of saying what is and what is not. This is wrong. And I'm going to cut it short. It just, this is not right, folks. And if all of us don't begin to take a stand against this oppression, always remember this. The person said, I never complained when they began to change the rules because it didn't affect me. I never complained when they began to punish those whom broke the rules because the rules were always changing. Never complained until they came for him. You know, folks, this is tyranny. And when you suppress the fact of innocent men and women who do nothing more than on the quest of simple knowledge, that's wrong. I don't care who you are. And I hope that maybe someone will listen, but I doubt it. You know, we're on a course headlong for destruction. We've allowed these companies to become too big. They control us. They enslave us. They profit off of us, and they share nothing. This is why it's enslavement. You see, if they shared the bounty equally, we wouldn't have any of this, but they don't. And then when you don't follow their ideology, their dogmas, then they label you. You get a bad social score. That's what the guy told me. Oh, we're going to have to adjust your score. What score? No one told me Google had a score on me. They got a score on you. Yeah. All right, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. Join me tonight. The Steiger Perspective. Again, there is a lot to this, folks. Listen, this is the Matrix. These are the Mr. Smiths. They're here. And you know what really bothers me? They own the politicians. They've bought them off. And you know, those are the ones that are supposed to be protecting us. Yeah, we are all endangered. Yeah, I like to always say, at what point did I become an indentured servant? You know? Yeah, I am. All right, folks. Thank you for being here. Be good to yourself. Let the energy rise up. I'm going to go and do a cleansing because this is oppressive. When you get near this thing, this is when you know, when they know that you're resisting it, this oppression is something they can actually begin to target individuals with. It's weird, I know. All right, folks. Appreciate you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.